Hey, this is Kevin with Seek Outside. This is an 8-person. This is the pole for it. We're going to set it up. We're going to go over some tips, okay? First, I'm going to go over some tips on what you can expect and some corrections. First off, if your teepee has a distinctive bell shape, you are stretching it too high, too much, and you have too low of a pole height. Simple fix. If you are planning to pitch it for snow and are expecting snow, put the pole up a couple inches higher, shrink the whole thing a little bit, use the side guy-outs, and that's going to give you a steep angle at the side, and snow is going to come off of it better. If the ground is real uneven, you know, this is a big tent. Sometimes in backcountry, not everything's perfectly flat like this. Sometimes you have something that's flat and then distinctly juts uphill. What you want to do is you want to treat the high side as your true pitch, and you want to guy out the low side because you're going to end up with some slack between the panels on the low side. If you don't do it that way, you're going to end up with a very belled out side all around. You're going to lose a lot of space. So your best way is treat the high side true, guy out the low side a little bit. So, that being said, hope you find those tips, remember those tips, hope you find them effective. There's several ways you can set up a teepee. You can set up radius, meaning that we start from here and we essentially measure out to here and measure out to here, and we measure kind of around. We set stakes that way. Some people prefer it that way. To do it that way, it's simple. If you do the radius method, you can do it with a piece of cordage. Just cut the cordage to the right size for the shelter you're using. So for this 8-man, it's 15-10. I'll start it at 15-8. Let's say you want to half that. So you want to be at 7.5 plus 4. So you want to be at 7 feet 10 inches on your cordage. Go from center, measure everything out that way. You'll be real close to having a real good pitch. You can also do it with your pole. You can set your pole to a certain height, maybe put a piece of tape on it, and you say, here's the center of my tent. Boom, there's one stake. Boom, there's another. Boom, there's another. Boom, there's another. And then you pitch the rest of the tent, and it goes on pretty smooth. There's also a setback method. Setback method uses some marking that is built into the tent. So you don't need anything extra. It's basically, if you look down our zipper or you look down our seams, there's a guy out point, and then there is a staking point, and then there's the end of the side skirt. And what you'll do is you'll take from the guy out point, fold the side skirt over. Where that side skirt lies is pretty much the setback point. Also a note on stakes. We provide 20 stakes, I believe, with the 8-man. It depends on the various teepees. Mild conditions, I only use about half, honestly. And if I need stakes for guy outs, I'll take a stick, right? And I'll make a stake out of it. If I'm expecting windy conditions, stuff like that, then I use all of them. But we have had 12-mans and 60-mile-an-hour winds with half the stakes, and they've been fine. Also a note on the stake quality. The stakes we provide are good stakes, but they aren't going to be the best stake for snow, frozen ground, sand, stuff like that. And they are going to bend. There is going to be a little bit of attrition on them. We do have some burley stakes. They're a little bit heavier. I like to, especially the bigger shelters, have about 4 of them in my stake bag. And I feel with 4 of those, I can anchor stuff pretty well. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to start this real quickly with a pole. I'm going to use a carbon pole. I'm showing pretty much kind of new how it comes. If I dump this bag, there's a couple extra pin locks in there. So you have some spares. Carbon pole nesting sections. So I basically pull these out till they pop. Pull these out till they pop. Oops, I messed up on that one. And then the adjuster section, pull it out. I'll start as low as possible with this, and then I will just go up. I prefer adjuster on the bottom. I don't know, I just like to kind of pull it up like that. Some people like adjuster on the top. So I have this. Other note, make sure your zippers are shut if you are using the setback method. If they are not shut, or you do not want to shut them, then use the radius method, either with the pole. This tent, surprise to me, looks like it has a liner in it already. So, using the setback method, and I'm just gonna kind of do a disclaimer here, so I don't want you guys telling me like I'm cheating or anything. I'm using Velcro. I can't get as much tension as I can in the wilds with a tent stake. So it's not going to be quite as tight as possible. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take one side, and I'm going to stake it out. Oh, it looks like it actually had a piece in here already. I guess someone has set this up. And I am only going to do the 10 stakes required to pitch it. So here we go. Now I'm going to find the opposing zipper, and I'm going to make sure it is zipped up, which in this case it was not. So and make sure the door is not tied back as well. Hey, real life, right? So I'm going to pull it back. I want it to naturally lay, so I apply a little bit of tension. Where it snaps back is where I use it. Now I take this and I fold this back, and that is essentially my stake spot right there. It's actually easier a lot of times to put the stakes in than the Velcro. Velcro, to get enough tension, is a little wide. Now on the 8-man, I'm going to basically do a square. On the 8-man, this is going to be off seam. Once again, I pull it, let it kind of snap back. I want to go in about 7 inches from there. So this is going to be my spot. Now I'm going to insert this pole, unzip the zipper, now when I'm putting this up, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for equal tension. If I were to do it with the radius method, using either the pole or a string, there would be no question, right? As long as it's flat surface, I'd be like, these are the dimensions. Maybe I'm adjusting an inch or two, but it's pretty much ready to go. So one of the drawbacks to the setback method is you have to kind of interpret stuff a little more. So I want to get equal tension on these 4 points, and then I'll do the rest of the stakes. So I'm going to raise the pole. That looks pretty good. I next like to do the seams next to the door. There you go. And that is how I pitch teepee. Some of the advantages, disadvantages of different methods. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll answer them best we can. Thank you.